prison world of Varex was quiet and dead. The sky was dark red, and the wind carried dust that cut the skin. There were no cities, no people, only ruins of old wars. In the middle of a broken fortress, a tall warrior lay wounded. His armor was burned and cracked. His sword was broken beside him. He had not eaten in days. His wounds bled slowly. He was once a king. Now he was nothing. The warrior was betrayed by those he trusted. His own people had left him behind after the last battle. The other empires agreed. They saw him as a danger. He had power, pride, and a strong will. No one wanted him alive. No one, except the humans. Far from Vorex, on the edge of human space, a meeting was held in a steel room. Queen Evelyn sat on a high chair. She wore a black jacket and had sharp eyes. Round her stood officers, commanders, and advisors. They spoke about the risk. They said the warrior was not human. They said it was not their war. They warned her not to act, but Queen Evelyn stood and looked at them all. He was left to die, she said, but we are not like them. We don't leave warriors behind. Captain Ryan Brooks stepped forward. He was tall and calm, with old scars on his face. He looked at the map of Vorex on the screen. He knew the mission would be dangerous, but he did not care. Ryan had fought many battles. He believed in honor. "I'll take a team," Ryan said. "We'll find him." The Queen nodded once. No more words were needed. Later, in a hidden hangar, a small crew prepared to leave. Ryan stood with his team. Lily Grant, the best sniper in the fleet, Eric Doyle, the tech expert, and Carla Monroe, the medic. They wore dark armor and carried light packs. They knew it was not just a rescue, it was a message to the galaxy. As their ship flew into the dark, no one spoke. They had one goal: reach Varex, find the warrior, and bring him home. The galaxy had turned its back on the warrior, but humans had not. The ship moved fast through deep space. Inside, the lights were low, and the crew stayed quiet. Captain Ryan sat in the front seat, watching the stars pass. His face was calm, but his mind was sharp. He knew this mission was not simple. They were not going to fight a battle. They were going to save a man who once ruled armies. Lily sat by the window, checking her sniper rifle. She cleaned every part slowly, her hands steady. She did not smile or speak. She had seen too many wars. She only trusted her aim. Eric sat near the engine room, checking wires and systems. He fixed every sound the ship made. He hated mistakes. He wanted everything to work right the first time. Carla packed medical tools. She checked each one, then checked them again. She had patched up soldiers with broken bones and burnt skin. She was ready for pain. Varex was far from safe zones. No rescue team had gone there in years. It was a dead planet. The sky was always red. Storms came without warning. The air was dry and thick. Old machines and broken war tanks still lay on the ground. No one lived there. Only bones remained. Ryan opened the file on the warrior. He read the last reports. The man had led his people into battle. He had won many fights. But in the last war, his people blamed him for a loss. Called him proud. They said he had failed. So they left him behind. But Queen Evelyn did not believe in leaving people behind. She had watched the warrior fight. She knew he was not a monster. He had a code. He had pride. He had fire in his heart. As the ship neared Varex, the crew checked their gear one last time. Ryan spoke to them. "We are not here to make deals," he said. "We are here to bring him back, no matter what stands in our way." Lily nodded once. Eric gave a short thumbs up. Carla zipped her pack and stood ready. The ship hit the edge of Varex airspace. Alarms blinked. Storms moved below like red waves. They were close now. The real mission was about to begin. The ship landed hard on the rocky ground of Varex. Dust filled the air, and red winds slammed against the hull. The team stepped out, their boots sinking into dry ash. The sky above was dark, like blood and fire. The ruins of the old fortress stood in the distance, broken and silent. Ryan walked in front. His eyes scanned the land. He raised a hand, and the others followed close. They moved fast but careful. Every sound mattered. Every shadow could hide danger. They reached the fortress after 1 hour. The walls were cracked. The towers had fallen. Sharp metal and old bones covered the ground. It looked like a place forgotten by time. Inside the fortress, the air was colder. Eric used a scanner to check for life signs. A faint signal blinked on his screen. "He's here," Eric said. They followed the signal deep into the ruins. Stones fell from above. The walls shook, but they kept moving. Last they found him. The warrior sat against a wall, half in shadow. His face was covered in blood and dirt. His armor was broken. One arm hung useless, but his eyes were open, sharp and full of fire. He stood slowly when he saw them. His hand reached for the broken sword beside him. Ryan raised both hands. "We're not here to fight," he said. "We came for you." The warrior did not speak. He looked at each of them. He saw the sniper, the medic, the tech. He saw their weapons. He saw their eyes. "You are human," he said at last. His voice was rough. "Yes," Ryan said. "And we are here to take you home." "Why?" the warrior asked. "Your kind owes me nothing." "Maybe," Ryan said, "but we don't leave people behind." Before the warrior could answer, a sharp sound broke the air. Metal claws hit stone. Red lights glowed in the dark. Machine hounds, fast and deadly, rushed toward them. Lily moved first. Her rifle snapped. One hound fell. Ryan pulled his gun. Eric dropped to cover. Carla grabbed the warrior and pulled him back. The fight began. The humans did not run. They stood and fought. Dust flew, blood spilled, and fire lit the ruins. The warrior watched them. And something in his heart began to change. The battle ended with smoke in the air and broken machines on the ground. Lily stood over the last fallen hound, her rifle hot. Ryan checked their surroundings, eyes sharp and steady. Carla helped the warrior stand while Eric searched for damage in his gear. The warrior looked at the team, breathing heavy. His face was tired, but his eyes were alive. These humans had risked their lives for him. They'd come through fire and death, not for power, not for gain, but to save a man left to die. He spoke in a low voice. "You fight like you believe in something." Ryan nodded. "We believe in loyalty.
8.
We don't turn our backs on those who stand." The warrior looked at the blood on Ryan's shoulder and at Lily's torn sleeve. He saw the dirt on Carla's face and the cuts on Eric's hands. These were not empty words. These humans had paid for this rescue in blood. "I will go with you," the warrior said. They left the ruins quickly. Eric checked the scanner again. His face went cold. "We have a problem," he said. "There is a ship landing 2 clicks north, not ours." Ryan looked up, and we moved fast. They ran through the red dust. The storm was building again. Lightning cracked across the sky. The ground shook under their boots. They reached a dry canyon and followed it west. But the enemy was faster. At the end of the canyon, shapes moved on the cliffs. Soldiers in dark armor blocked the path. They aimed rifles down at the team. A voice came from above. "Hand over the exile. Walk away, and we let you live." Ryan stood firm. "You know that's not going to happen." The warrior stepped forward, slow and strong. He looked up at the soldiers who once called him king. His voice was like thunder. "You left me to die," he said. "Now I fight beside those who did not." Then the cliff exploded. Lily's shot broke the silence. Dust flew. Gunfire filled the air. Ryan charged forward, leading the team. The warrior picked up a fallen blade and ran into the fight beside them. The enemy expected a broken man. They found a warrior reborn, and they were not ready. Smoke rose from the canyon. The ground was covered with fire and fallen soldiers. Ryan's team stood at the edge, breathing hard. Their clothes were torn, and their weapons nearly empty. The warrior stood with them, a deep cut on his arm, but his grip on the blade was tight. They had won the fight, but the battle had cost them. Ryan looked at the sky. The storm was moving fast. Time was running out. The extraction ship was waiting past the hills, but they had only minutes before the dust storm would block the way. "We need to move now," he said. They ran over the sharp rocks and broken land. The warrior helped Lily when she slipped. Carla kept pressure on Ryan's bleeding arm. Eric checked the map on his screen, guiding them toward the pickup point. Behind them, a warning light flashed on Eric's device. "They're coming," he said. Another group. Bigger. They reached the edge of the valley where the ship waited. Its lights cut through the dust. The back ramp was open, and the engine roared. A new wave of enemy soldiers appeared over the ridge. They moved fast, firing without pause. Ryan shouted, "Get on the ship." Lily turned and fired, covering the others. The warrior grabbed a heavy rifle from the ground and stood beside her. His old strength was back. He fought with fire in his heart, not for his people, but for the ones who had come for him. One by one, the team made it onto the ship. Ryan was the last. As he turned to board, a shot hit his leg. He fell, pain in his face. The warrior ran back, lifted Ryan onto his shoulder, and carried him up the ramp. Inside, Carla closed the ramp. Eric took the pilot's seat. The ship rose into the storm, shaking from the wind. The warrior sat near Ryan, who gave a small smile through the pain. "You didn't have to come back for me," Ryan said. The warrior looked at him. "Yes, I did." Above the storm, the ship broke through into clear space. They were safe, for now. The warrior closed his eyes and breathed deep. He was no longer alone. The ship reached the human command station high above the earth. It was strong and wide, built for war. Soldiers walked the halls, ready for orders. Queen Evelyn stood near the landing bay, her eyes on the sky. She had waited many days for this moment. When the ship landed, medics rushed in. They took Ryan on a stretcher. Carla stayed close, checking his wound. Lily and Eric followed, both silent and tired. The warrior stepped out last. His armor was torn, his hands stained with dust and blood. But he stood tall. Soldiers watched him with careful eyes. They had heard the stories, they knew who he was. Queen Evelyn walked toward him. Her face was calm, but her voice was strong. "You made it," she said. The warrior nodded once. "Your people did not leave me behind." She looked at him for a long time. "We keep our word. That is the human way." He bowed his head with respect. "Then I will stand with you. Your enemies are now mine." News of the rescue spread fast. The other empires were not happy. They sent warnings. They called humans reckless. They said helping the warrior was a mistake. But Queen Evelyn did not change her path. She met with her generals. She called her fleets to full alert. The time for silence was over. She gave the warrior a place in her war council. He trained with her soldiers. He taught them new ways to fight, shared what he knew from years of battle. Ryan returned to duty after healing. His leg still hurt, but he stood tall. He joined the warrior in planning for what was coming. Lily was given a medal for bravery. Eric was promoted for saving the ship during the storm. Carla opened a clinic to help injured fighters. They all stayed close, ready for what came next. The Empire sent ships to block human space. Tension filled the stars. War was near. Queen Evelyn stood before her people. Her voice rang across the screens. "We do not bow, we do not fear. We fight for those who fight for us." The warrior stood beside her, armor repaired, blade in hand. Together, they were ready. The war came fast. The Empire sent their fleets to strike the human borders. They believed humans would break under pressure. They believed the warrior would fall again. They were wrong. At Seraph Gate, the largest human spaceport ships moved like a wall of steel. Queen Evelyn gave the command to defend. Ryan took his place on the front ship. His legs still ached, but his mind was sharp. Lily was above him in the tower, sniper rifle ready. Eric watched the system controls, his fingers flying. Carla stood in the medical room, prepared for the wounded. The warrior led the ground forces. His voice gave strength to the fighters. He carried a new sword, forged from human steel and fire. His armor now bore the mark of the human queen. When the enemy attacked, the sky burned. Fire rained across the stars. Human ships moved fast, striking hard. The warrior charged with his troops on the ground, cutting through the enemy lines. Every move he made showed his skill. His eyes were clear, his heart steady. The Empire sent more ships, but Queen Evelyn had prepared well. She had used the warrior's knowledge. Her weapons were stronger, her soldiers trained in new ways. Lily picked off enemy leaders from far above. Eric locked down the gates and stopped enemy codes. Carla saved lives under fire, never backing down. The battle lasted for hours, then silence came. The enemy broke and ran. Seraph Gate stood tall. The humans had won. Across the galaxy, people watched. They saw that humans had not saved a lost king for weakness. They had done it for honor, and that honor had given them victory. Later, a new council formed, not ruled by fear, but by strength and trust. Queen Evelyn stood at the head. Beside her stood the warrior, no longer exiled, now a leader in a new age. Ryan became commander of the Peace Fleet. Lily trained the next line of sharpshooters. Eric helped build the new gate systems. Carla opened more clinics across the stars. The warrior who was once left to die now walked beside those who gave him life again. And in the eyes of many, it was not just a human victory, it was a human legend.